LFC Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the No Transfer Knowledge special show on the LFC Daytrippers, where you get four characters around a screen here to talk about transfers in and out of Liverpool that we haven't got a clue about and we don't pretend to have a clue about. I'm hosting tonight, I'm Keith, I'm joined by Gav, by Seany and by Davo. It's the dream team, we've got the big hitters in for this. Got the band together because we've got a lot to talk about. Gav, how are you?
I'm great. I had to look up some of these players, who they are, where they came from, what height they are, but I've done it. So I'm ready, Keith. Whatever you have to throw me, I am ready.
Yeah. And I think looking up that height could be a bit interesting. Looking at some of the players who are linked. Yeah,
there's
some
a
of the players
4
who are
inch difference
linked.
in the three I was given earlier. So
yeah, well, that's interesting. But you know, you're here. You're a busy man. You've graced us with your presence because that's what we do on this channel. Only the best. Davo, how are you?
All good, Keith. All good.
All good. Excited to talk transfers.
Oh yeah, can't
Who
wait.
wouldn't be?
Can't wait.
Who wouldn't be?
That's wouldn't be. Dopamine hit that we all need. You know what I mean?
That's what football's all about. That's what.
Do you hear me there a minute ago, boys, roaring and orders around me gaff now?
no.
Because I come on and you are laughing, gaff. So I was thinking he's at the fucking hear to me, but
No, I was laughing at something completely different that happened 7 minutes ago.
You're okay, Seany. You're okay. And of course, we have the great Seany Lawson. Seany, how's things?
Good. Can't wait to come on and talk shite as always.
Yeah, that's what we're all about here. Yeah. That's the name of the game. Well, I'll tell you, I've seen them all extensively for years. I've been following some of these players, and you know, it's great that they're finally coming. It's great that Liverpool are finally catching up with me, because I know how to run this team better than anyone else, and I'm just glad that we're getting to where I want us to be. So we're going to talk midfielders. I think everybody knows midfield, Liverpool are in bleeding absolute turmoil there. I think the four of us could put in a better shift than the lads are at the moment. But will it happen? Will it not happen? We spoke on Sunday night about, you know, Klopp was quick to get Cody Gakpo in the door and the end of December, which shows that the preference was to get a forward in, not a sausage on a midfielder. So he might have different ideas than what we think and what Liverpool fandom thinks. But the midfield links are coming thick and fast. Whether you believe them or take them with a pinch of salt, that's another thing altogether. But we're going to start off with a few names that have come up over the last couple of days. And Gav, I'm going to start with you because you've done a lot of extensive research on these boys, you know, and I like that you've taken the initiative. Mm-hmm. So the first name I'm going to throw at you is Joe Palhinha. What do you make of that one?
Joe Palhinha, is that the fella off Fulham?
Yeah, because you didn't research him, did you?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
I have to say, right, and I'm glad you're throwing this at me because I seen his
name.
For you. Well, I seen his name come up the other day. I don't know who posted it. Just like genuine. You can go onto the internet now and type in any midfielder in the world, and you'll find a link to Liverpool, because that's how the game works at the minute. But he's done all right for Fulham, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he was impressive against us on the opening day of the season. I think he did play out against us on the opening day of the season.
He did, yeah.
And from what I remember, he was impressive.
He was good. Yeah, no, he was very good.
And Fulham have been good this season, and he's been a major part of it. Obviously, Mitrovic's goals and stuff like that. But him in midfield, he's been really, really good. He might have 4 or 5 goals this season already from that midfield. But listen, Keith, it doesn't matter what midfielder's linked. It's going to, or what midfielder is out there, he's going to be linked with Liverpool because that's how the game goes. Just put a name out there, throw Liverpool at it, and sit back, relax, have a cup of tea. It'll all do the rest will do its job itself, and then away we go. But Palhinha's a good player.
Palhinha is a good player, and I was only joking. We are getting heavily linked with him, but he wasn't one of the players we were going to talk about. But I just threw him in there because something you mentioned, Gav, was you're looking at the height of these players, and if you look at Palhinha, he stands at 6'3". He's a defensive midfield player, and it seems to be a profile maybe that the players that they're getting linked with are, most of them are of a similar sort of stature. So Amrabat, we know, has been in the mix there for a while, and I think he's over 6 foot, can play at the base of a midfield. Not Nordine Johnny, it's the brother, not the bad one that had a stint at Watford. It's the other lad. But he's a big lad, right? And Palhinha is a big lad. And some of the other fellas we're going to talk about here are big units as well. So I don't know. I mean, these links come out. These are just, in my opinion, a lot of aggregator sites on Twitter throw these names out and look for clicks and likes and hits. And that's the way the game seems to work. But the profile does seem to be fairly similar. So we're going to talk about
I don't mind the people on Twitter that say Palhinha. And they'll come on and say, Palhinha, Fulham could be a good signing for Liverpool because of this, and give an opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what you're talking about is, Palhinha from Fulham linked with Liverpool, click here to see the rest of it. And
Done
it's
deal.
It's just the fella just saying, I think it'd be good. Do you know what I mean? But look, that's the
we
way it
wouldn't
works.
do that over here. We don't think of that. Before we go on, the show is brought by our sponsors, bookmakers.com. Isn't all shows are bookmakers.com. Just to give them a mention before we go any further. If you're into gambling, gamble responsibly, do all that good stuff. If you're not into gambling, go on and have a look, because they do offer a lot of other stuff. And you're doing pods with them as well, Gav, now, weren't you?
Yeah, I done one. I recorded it yesterday. I went out today at 5 o'clock. The two lads are great. Sports fan and a United fan, and they're really down to earth. They're not mental. And I think we done the North London derby, the Manchester derby, Everton, because you have to talk about Everton, and who else? Wolves, West Ham. And the biggest thing to come out of it for me is that Everton are playing at 3 o'clock on Saturday, which means you'll probably have to find it on a dodgy stream, which means that there'll definitely be a microphone close to the Bullens stand where Everton fans sit, and there will be one, maybe two men going absolutely berserk for 90 minutes, which will be our entertainment for the weekend, guaranteed.
You love to see.
It's amazing. Everything at 3 o'clock when you're watching on a dodgy stream.
Did you swear talking about Liverpool Brighton? You swear that?
No, I didn't come up this week because it's fans of three different sides. We thought the big four games were them, two at the bottom, two at the top. We're just in the middle acting the bollocks, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. That's it. But like you said, it's not just for gambling. There's loads of stuff on there that you can go on the website and look at. So go on and give them a follow, check them out, check out Gav on the show, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because you'll be seeing all their branding across our shows as well. So yeah, get on and give them a support. So anyway, Shawnee, I'll come to you, right? So transfer business, as we said, it's just names getting thrown, pulled out of a hat and thrown at a wall, see what'll stick. What are you making of some of these links that are coming out there at Liverpool? Is there anything that's jumping out at you that you're excited about?
No, well, I think there's someone definitely listening to this show anyway that does run some of these websites, because I named your man Musa off Valencia the other day, and I seen we are being linked with him then, and he was high up on Klopp's list. And he's one that can't get out of my head, because the type of signing I want Liverpool to go back to making these clever signings, not having to splash 50, 60, 70 million, because that's not really what got us to the dance in the first place. Now, there's obviously the big one that I reckon all our eggs are in the basket, and you'd need to convince me otherwise that it's not about Bellingham. But Keith, I take nearly every one of these links with a pinch of salt, because just out of curiosity earlier, I just jumped on Transfer Market, and I looked at the signings Liverpool have made in probably the last 6 windows, and one thing that stood out for me, there was Tsimikas, Jota, the Gakpo one recently. Who else was there? There's obviously Fabinho,
Thiago.
Yeah, Thiago. Now,
Konate.
Konate, Konate and Keita, there's a bit of a theme there I found with Liverpool transfers. Konate was signed in around March, and he was going to come in summer, and nobody knew about it. It was just sort of Liverpool are interested. Liverpool have signed. And I think we signed Jota the day after we get Thiago. Nobody knew anything about it. Gakpo the same. And we were linked with that lad Lewis from Norwich at the time. And then we ended up with Simicas. And like the common theme there is nobody had a clue. You know what I mean? Like these weren't mentioned. Now there was people dropping crumbs. Like if you throw enough shit at a wall, it'll stick. And the thing is with social media, people can just put these things out and then just pull them up whenever. So, like, I don't know. I think people are mad because they read this stuff that are made up that's completely fabricated by people and then go mad when it doesn't happen. You know, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's no validity to anything that they're saying because since Virgil, the journals haven't got a fucking clue. Like, I was only reading there even on Reddit, they were talking about Paul Joyce and why he's so credible. But when we were being linked with Thiago, Paul Joyce was like, yeah, Klopp's a long-term admirer of Thiago, but Liverpool have no interest in signing the Bayern Munich man at this time. Like, they haven't got a fucking clue. And that's the thing. It's normally Liverpool are interested, and then the couple of the big journals will come out saying, oh yeah, Liverpool are interested. And then literally in a matter of hours, it's done because it's already way down the line. So I don't know. The way I'm skeptical about is doing that in this window now because if we are going to do something in this current moment, it's going to have to be an English or a homegrown player. And two, we won't be signing anyone unless we get rid of anyone. And then people just have the scenario in their head where Klopp's just going to fuck Adrian out of the squad or whoever else it might be or Keita might go. Like, that's all complete. Like, it's just dream stuff. I don't think there's any scenario where Klopp would just fuck off any player. Never mind Adrian, because Klopp will feel some sort of loyalty towards Adrian for the games he's dug us out in over it. Now, obviously, fucking he's had his mistakes, but Klopp won't look at it like that, you know what I mean? So, someone will have to go if we're going to bring anyone in. And there's no talk of even that. So, I don't know. I think the only way, if I'm going to put a positive spin on it, I'm just thinking, and I said this weeks ago, the club have just fucking put an X through this season and written it off because they know with the new rules, we won't be too long out of a Champions League. They'll take a hit on a year and they know exactly who they want in the summer. And I'm going by saying Bellingham and this Nunes character who looks like there's something in that. So, and they must have all their eggs in that basket because it doesn't look like they are in any hurry to kind of plug a hole this window that may get us in or out of Champions League football. To me, it doesn't look like it makes a fucking blind bit of difference to them. I think that they're well aware now that this isn't like a totting up process now. We're in a full-scale revamp where there's going to be major investment in the summer needed. So, I don't know. I think poor planning is finally caught up now and is sort of admitting. So, I don't know. I can't see anything happening in the next 2 or 3 weeks because it's not like a fucking sell to buy thing. It's just the logistics of the squad at the moment don't allow for us to have a non-homegrown player, and they seem to be the only links that are coming up.
And people seem to hate that. You know, people that listen to this and people who are on social media will think, that's a lot of ball. But it's a fact of life, you know what I mean? Like there's not space for these guys. And some managers are ruthless and some managers would kick out an Adrian to make space or would kick out a Keita or an Oxlade-Chamberlain or one of these lads. But Jurgen Klopp has shown down all through his tenure at Liverpool, and even at Dortmund before that, he's very loyal to his players. I mean, Emre Can was running down his contract and he plays in the Champions League final in his last game. Gini Wijnaldum, the same. He's happy to keep them lads there. He's not one, unless it's a Sacco who acts the bollocks. If a player acts the maggot, he'll get rid of them. But if they don't, like they've extended Adrian as well, you know what I mean? So he's happy to have him as part of the goalkeeping team. So I think it's unrealistic for people to think he would do that as much as they would like it. But Shawnee, you mentioned Nunes. I see ex-Red Glenn Johnson reckons Liverpool would have to pay 75 million to get Matthias Nunes. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, Glenn Johnson knows about as much as everyone else. Fuck all. Just because you're the next player doesn't mean you're some sort of expert. these lads just get jobs in the media these days. I don't fucking know how. If I have to listen to bleeding a Bangla dribble all over himself any longer, I'm gonna go fucking nuts. Again, that's what it is. These sites, media, it's all now based on the currency of clicks and engagement, and that's all it is. You see the point, like, just for example, they're all talking about the promise of Anthony and how shy fucking Darwin Núñez is. When you really look at it, take it out, Núñez has actually he's done all right. But the big chances missed. His return is actually not bad for a lad who's trying to settle in the team. Like, you know what I mean? But Núñez is clicks at the moment. You know what I mean? Núñez is pure currency. You can put him on that and it's gonna milk. And that's all it's all about today. Is like, you know what I mean? So
that Núñez fella is George Mendes' client anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Mendes doesn't put anyone in somewhere where he can't get them out. So there's no way that's 75 million. Yeah. He's not sending him to Wolves with no buyout clause.
Yeah.
And if it is, there is a buyout, it'll be about 40 million or something like that. It'll be something.
Well, Glenn Johnson's rationale was he's Wolves' best player, so how can Liverpool expect to get him for a 6 million increase on what Wolves paid? I don't think Glenn Johnson watches Wolves, because I've seen bits and pieces of him. He's been okay, but he's certainly not been pulling up any trees.
Yeah, but Wolves are used as a cog in the
people trafficking machine.
You know, like, it's just like you get him in there, and like they're not even looking at the transfer fee. They're just going, we'll get him over here, put him in a bigger spotlight in the Premier League. All right, we've paid out 40 at Wolves, and we give away him for 50. That's 10 million. But it's all about the bits in behind that. So he's got 2 moves and his agent's going to make twice out of it. Do you know what I mean? That's where it's come from.
Nothing shady, like.
Well, I don't know if shady. It's very legal. But
George Mendes is highly connected.
No, but hold on, it is legal.
And he's bringing all these players in.
The player signs a transfer and comes in, and I'm sure they have it all in place where if I want to go there for an extra 10 million next season, I'm going there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Wolves probably look at it and go, in the real world, we probably can't get him, but we're going to make 10 million quid for holding a player here for a year. You know what I mean? And he probably improves us, so it's a bit mad.
Gav, can we get a height check on Matthias Núñez, please?
Haven't a Jesus clue what height he is, but he's good. I'll give you that. Listen, he comes in at Wolves.
Let's be honest, he don't fuck all at Wolves.
No. What I'm going to say is he comes in at Wolves, and of course Liverpool are linked to him. There was I think Spurs might have been linked to him. There was a couple of, he's going here, he's going there. Then he goes to Wolves, and people are like, why didn't they sign him? And the Mendes thing is obviously there. I've seen him a couple of times for Wolves. I think he's been injured though. But the only time I've seen him, I think I actually seen him away at Spurs, and he was fucking running all over the shop, like, and carrying the ball unbelievable. I think he does quite well when he comes on against us. But like, you can judge a player on what like we could judge a player like any of these players we're going to talk to about in a minute and go, he's good at this, he's good at that. But you don't know when he comes into the Liverpool side. You know, like you always go back to Wijnaldum and you say to yourself, like, he was a 10, he was getting forward, he was scoring goals for Newcastle. We just bring him in and go, you're playing the 8, and then you might play the 6 this week. So you don't know what Klopp's going to do with him. A bit like Cody Gakpo. Gakpo's coming in and people are saying he'll play off the left, he'll do this, he'll do that. And you don't know. In the long term, you actually don't know what to do with Cody Gakpo. So, but there's going to be loads of players. There's just loads of players linked. Just on the whole thing of, do you think that will happen in January? Shawnee said something interesting there where he said, you know, journalists come out and they say, oh yeah, they're definitely interested. And within hours, it's done. You know, and if Liverpool really wanted to do something with midfield in this window, you probably would have been looking at it since August, September, October, where the signs are there already, and you're saying, well, let's get this down the line and get it done in January. And we're at the 11th of January now or something, 12th of January, and there's nothing going on. Now, having said that, they could come out and just bang, there's one there and it's done. You know what I mean? We could play Brighton at the weekend and Caicedo could be announced on Monday. You don't know with Liverpool, but there's so many elements to this as to why it is being done or not being done. And you can make arguments either way, you know what I mean, against the owners, the manager, you know, or what's happening this summer. You're getting people coming out going, Liverpool have this amount to spend this summer. Like, Liverpool ain't ringing random fucking journalists around the world and going, listen, just to let you know, heads up, we've 250 million to spend this summer. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, they are doing that to put it out there to plumaz people, but that's not going to plumaz people. That's actually going to annoy. That annoys me more. If I actually thought that was true, right, that Liverpool are telling journalists that they've 250 million, I'm kind of going, what? That doesn't fucking matter. We need to talk about now. So it's actually more infuriating that they're saying that than, plumazing them. So I don't think Liverpool are going to do that, but we all agree they need to do something in January, unless Shawnee's correct and they're writing off the season. But I think if you write off the season and you fucking finish 7th or 8th, your hopes of getting whoever is diminished for me.
But I don't know whether it is, Carl, because like what you were saying there, if they're planning ahead, like, you're not signing this. I'm going to be fucking so frank about this. Being in the Champions League is not going to hurt our ambition to sign Bellingham or Bellingham's ambition to sign for Liverpool. Yeah. Because if he's signing another long-term deal, he's going to know the script next season. Simple as that. He would have known that. They would have already talked about this, I reckon. Now, again, you've Neil Jones coming out saying Liverpool have a list if they're in the Champions League. When you think about it, how fucking silly does that sound? Do you think that someone from the club is going to be leaking that to journalists? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. The one thing I'll say is, we all know, without speculation around, we've signed one midfielder on a permanent in the last 6 windows. And that's all we know, regardless what you read in a fucking paper or on an article or on social media. We've signed one midfielder in the last 6 windows. And Gakpo was done before the window was open because he was obviously available. If we wanted a midfielder, there would have been one in, one out. The big thing that sticks out, and it gets just washed over, is the pair of cunts, Ox and Keita, have just burned up space and wages in this team for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, they have, but they've burned it because they've been given the contracts and probably not enough is being done to get them out.
Should have moved them out, and that's right there. You have 2 players who should be in their prime right now, and they're useless. They're less than useless. There's 6 months left in the deal.
I agree with Sean about the Champions League. As in, I think you'll get 1 year. You'll get 1 season where if you're out of it, you'll be all right. Yeah. The problem is with the way the Newcastle chips have fallen. United have got their act together. They seem to have a manager who knows what he's at. It's a dangerous fucking game to be playing for FSG. I'm talking about now for the season.
The thing is, Shane, with that, we're nearly guaranteed to be in the 2024 Champions League with them new rules.
The Swiss model thing, yeah.
We're nearly guaranteed, unless we're literally bottom half next season. Well, I'd say we're almost guaranteed, and we're not going to not be in Europe next year.
And how many more years of Klopp after this have we got? 2 or 3?
3 seasons.
I don't know, and that's the thing. Like, that's the infuriating thing, that you feel like you're just born on. And when you look back, like, at the lack of action over the windows, you think if they had done that little bit more, what else we could have done. And I don't want that to be the question. I do think there's another roll of the dice here to go again with another team, but it is frustrating. I 100% get people's frustration. I do. But there's no point getting wound up about shit you read on the internet.
Yeah.
Just look at it for what it is.
No, I think you make a good point with the fact that
Klopp turned around as well, didn't he, and say, well, I wish we are a little bit more risk adverse. Like, I put it out the other day. I want FSG gone now.
Yeah, but and that's fine. And look,
Windows, the same conversation.
I know,
it's the same conversation every window.
I know it's the same conversation, and
people tell you they spend everything they make, but you can loosen up a little bit.
Well,
put a bit in. Like, it wouldn't kill
them. But you see, that's I keep saying it. That's not what they do.
But we shouldn't just take it. If
no,
that's not what
I'm not saying you should take it.
But I'm not saying is it down to Klopp as well? There's a lot of this is on Klopp.
See, this is the thing. It's for me, Keith. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors all the time, right? Because you actually don't know what's happening. You're trying, like, if you put it this way, signing someone in January. Do you sign somebody? Should you sign somebody? 100%, right? Do you sign somebody? we don't know. Shawnee could be right. They could be way down the line with someone and bang, it happens in the next week. We have somebody because we've only about 2 Premier League games over the next 3 weeks, haven't we? It's because of all different things going on, right? And you can make the argument that it's quiet because they will do something or they won't. And if they don't, it's like, well, why aren't they? Is it Klopp? Is it FSG? Are they selling the club? Have they got something planned in the summer so they just feel that they can get through to the summer and, you know, not write off a season, but whatever happens, happens. There's so many different angles to everything. You know, Shawnee says he wants FSG gone, right? I think if FSG can't put some money in on top of what they do now, and I'm not, like, I keep saying it, if City are at a level of 800 million, where they're and you've seen the figures coming out yesterday or today, it's fucking scandalous, right? If they're at that level, for us to do that, we'd have to probably go 200 million a year more, right? Which means then you're on that City train, right? We're currently at, say, 6, right? If FSG aren't willing to go to 7 and say we have to find the middle ground, and with what we have here, with that extra money a year, we feel we can compete. And I think they could, right? If they can't do that, they probably have to go, right? Because we can all sit here and say to ourselves, oh, well, no, that's the model and we're grand and look what we won. You can say that. But the reality in football is that you need to put more money in. You don't want to go and put out financial numbers like you seen yesterday, which is madness. But you have to go somewhere in the middle, Keith, right? And that's why if you have to go somewhere in the middle, that's why you look at and go, if they're not signing someone in January, I think it's madness not to sign someone in January. But have they got something planned for the summer? And if they have something planned for the summer, is the planning done on the back of, if we don't make Champions League, this is still going to happen? You could argue any of these from any angle.
Gav, we're not asking him to go and slap 120 million down on Enzo Fernandez and one lump for his buyout clause. You're literally saying an initial outlay of a transfer might be max 25 million for a player that we could bring in. And that's not just this window, Gav. This has been for many windows. They've gambled way too many times and left Klopp up to fucking work his magic. They done it the very first year. Remember his very first full season when Mane went off to AFCON. We were top of the league.
Yeah,
Christmas. And we fucking fell apart. And he just left it. He left it because they knew. And we cruised through and we got top 4 on the last day. The year when all the fucking centre backs were injured, they left it to the last day of the window to get Kabak and Davies.
Only because Matip got injured, didn't he? A couple of days before that.
We got Champions League on the last day. They've gambled time and time again, but they haven't gambled with that money. They've gambled off the back of Klopp's fucking magic. And
we think this is the year that it'll come down to.
And it's coming to bite them now. They've gambled this year, and it'll bite them big time because you can't. No, I'm telling you, I don't like the top red, bottom red things. A lot of bollocks doesn't exist.
Pay no attention to that. It's a conversation about football.
If you want to talk to someone who staunchly defends FSG, which I've never done, by the way, I understand what they've done as owners. I staunchly defend being pro FSG and staunchly defend being anti FSG. I don't think you should be either, but you can't tell me that they couldn't fucking finance a deal for a midfielder in summer that would have done a job for us. Like, yeah, we want too many, but like, where was the alternative? None.
But this is what I'm. But like, I'm
Mellow.
agreeing with you.
You can't tell me that you're looking at this window and you're saying they don't have the money because they want to do it in the summer. It doesn't. That's
Sean. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, people
have literally gambled. They've gambled time after time.
Correct.
After time.
But what I'm saying is, when I say to you that, you know, this is what they do, and they probably need. People think I'm disagreeing with them. I'm agreeing with what you're saying with regards to finance and what you could spend. But at the end of the day, we deal with an ownership that have this model, and that's what it is, right? You like it or you don't, right? And for the instance that we're in now, we're saying to ourselves, because of bad planning, and we said this on Sunday's show, I think it was, because of bad planning, they've left themselves now where, without a shadow of a doubt, they need to sign 3 midfielders for this squad, right? Preferably one in this January window, which is usually tough to get players in, right? We've said that for years, right? But you won now, and it has to happen. Because even if you write off this season, you're still going to have to spend that money somewhere. And this is why you can make not even the argument, because people think you're arguing with them, but this is why you can see that they're not doing this now. But have they got something down the line plan. But then you're saying to yourself, well, hold on, have they got something down the line plan? Because when the summer comes, we could be sitting on 8 windows without a fucking with one midfielder signing the last 8 windows on a permanent deal. And that's where the frustration comes from. It's very, very clear when it comes to FSG. There's no need to argue over it. They need to spend more money, right? And part of it is because their model, and part of it is because what's going on elsewhere. But they have to spend the money. So when it comes to this January, for footballing reasons, they need to get somebody in. And the only thing holding them back from doing that is the fact that they planned it badly, and they've 2 midfielders definitely sitting there. They shouldn't be at the club. They shouldn't be at the club and sitting with 6 months left and holding them to ransom.
But is that where the club needs a director of football or a sporting director to be in there that's going to hang, that's going to look after that, that's going to take them decisions out of Jurgen Klopp's hands and is going to say, look, we have to sell these lads going into that last year because Klopp will rather keep them than sell them. And if we operate a sell-to-buy model, you can't let assets like Keita...
But if Klopp wants to keep them, he should be... If Klopp wants to keep them, the club should offer them a deal. But they're not offering deals.
Why would you offer these lads?
And now we're 11 days into... We're 11 days into a transfer window where Naby Keita, right, can leave, and Oxlade-Chamberlain can sign pre-contract agreements for anyone outside of England. And nobody has come near them. So the club isn't going to... Surely the club isn't going to turn around and go, nobody's going near them for free. Let's just give them another load of money. Yeah. So at the end of the day, they still have to spend that money in the summer. Now, whether they decide to go outside the model and do it, right, and say to ourselves, we need to pump 500 million in here over the next 5 years on top of whatever we earn. Unless they're willing to do that, they need to step aside and go, or get their investment in of 500 million for 15% of the club or whatever it adds up to, right? 20% of the club, it's probably less than that. And then they take their investment in and someone comes in with the eye of taking over the club in the long term, right? But this is what I'm saying. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like, I can sit here and, if I wanted to, absolutely demand that they get a midfielder and there's no excuses. And Davo could turn around and go, but Gav, that's not what they do. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And it all comes back to not knowing what's going on. The club are always quiet. No matter what, they're always quiet. And personally, in my opinion, I'm starting to lean towards the fact that the club will be sold. And you won't see that happen in January. And when January ends, you'll probably see an announcement then that something will happen with regards to the ownership of the club. And then, of course, everything will start with war chest for the summer. But it still leaves Jurgen Klopp with, for me, personally, midfield in particular, that won't get you success this season. They just don't have it in them. Nothing against them, but they haven't got it in them anymore, Keith. That's my
no, well, that's
Keith's mad to talk about Man U Kone now.
No. Do you know, it's funny you put it in there, Davo. I was just about to say, right, enough from yous too. Davo, we're going to talk about a player, but I wasn't going to talk about Manu Kone. I was going to give you a Kefren Thuram. See these links with Kefren Thuram coming in. And Manu Kone, you've thrown that in there as well, right? So these are 2 players that I think we should be looking at. Not whether Liverpool are, they're probably not. But this is the type of player I think that Seany was saying we get back to getting these rough diamonds before they smash through the potential barrier. So too many was one last season that they were looking at and they were trying to get before he blew up and they done it a bit late. What do you know about Kefren Thuram, and would he be someone that would interest you?
Well, no, absolutely fucking nothing about him, Keith. But I do agree. I do agree with Seany about the rough diamonds type thing. But the problem, I think, is I could be wrong, but I think the days of Liverpool being the fucking smartest lads in the room when it comes to transfers might be over. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I could be wrong. You've had Michael Edwards going, Morda's going. There seems to be a bit of upheaval there, but behind the scenes with a couple of more lads jumping ship and whatnot. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but I'd be worried that it is the case, that maybe we're not going to be the smartest people in the room doing the deals, because it does seem to be the ones where like our best stuff's been done, getting the likes of Genie in and Robbo in and other stuff like that. Like, just deals that you don't really see fucking coming. And if these people are jumping ship, like, it's, I don't know, listen, I don't know if it's over mid or whatever like that, but Klopp wanted fucking what's your man off Dortmund, and Michael Edwards talked him into Salah. So, do you know what I mean? We could have been...
Julian Brandt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Julian Brandt, yeah. So, like, we don't know. We've said it a million times. We all know. We need, like, for me to get top 4 this year, we need to get a midfield player in January. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to gamble. Like Seany alluded to, they gambled before Klopp gets him out of jail. I think this might be the year that it comes home. to roost. But yeah, he scored tonight. Thuram scored tonight. I think he got an assist as well.
He did.
He's tall, isn't he? He's tall, range. He can get around the pitch. I think he's 6'4", Gav, is he?
Kefran Thuram is 6'4", 21 years of age, French.
Yeah, there you go.
Started out with Monaco. He's with Nice.
Gav's like played Michael Buffer there, reading the tail of the tape.
And in the red corner, 94 games, 6 goals.
We have it all here.
Yeah. Free. He went on a free. He's played 10 games for the French under-21s. He's got 1 goal there. Market value currently €25 million, 20 million pounds.
Could have asked about Koopmeiners. I watched a bit of him do that night. He scored a fucking screamer.
Well, you can have him in a minute. Don't worry, you can have him in a minute. But right, Kefran Thuram. Shawnee, do you want to throw in your piece on this fella?
Never seen him play. Is he related?
Lillian's young fella. He's Lillian's young fella, yeah.
Is he really?
He is, yeah. He's Marcus Thuram's brother, yeah.
He's a Nepo baby then. I don't want that to do with him.
He's
now, these people all what was it, Jamie Lee Curtis and all them saying that they are only famous because that their parents are famous. Well, I don't know, but look, from what I know, the lads who love Microsoft Excel are telling me this fella's the perfect player. So yeah, why not?
The new Naby Keita.
Honestly, if you told me Lilian Thuram was going to come out and put his boots on, I'd play him in midfield now for us. That's how fucking hard up we are.
Yeah.
So
he'd be more mobile than the three that are in there.
But do you know what? I actually feel sorry for Fabinho. Do you know that? Because he's coming into a bit of form and then he just come back into a midfield where he has to play in his own again. It's ridiculous.
Tough.
Do you see Thuram? Like, there's a couple of names, Thuram, Kone, and stuff like that. But like, say you look at Thuram, right? Market value of about £20 million, right? If you need 3 midfielders, that's probably where you want to win with one of them, right? If you're putting a load of money on Bellingham, we don't know if they are, right? But if you're going to spend a load of money and you have to get 3 in, and one of them's going to be colossal, and one of them's probably going to be in the 40-50 range, right? It's going to be colossal money to sort this midfield out, whether you like it or not, right? But this fella, you know, the others are on the list as well, and I know there's not much. Nothing really concrete on these links, but when you look at them players at a market value of 20 million, 21 years of age, 6'4", athletic, you know, competitive as some of the said in the chat, you know, that's probably where you go, you know what, we'll sign too big in market terms, and this one fits. Do you know what I mean? That is your rough diamond, or that is your one where you go, he's going in there, he's 94 games at 21 years of age. He's a midfielder. He's playing in a top league in well, you know, the top league in France. But that's probably that sort of fits for what you might do, because you're not going to go out and do Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. You're just not going to. But if you were to say to me you could get Caicedo at 60 million quid, and Bellingham, I always say Bellingham should be a side issue out of the way of any transfer we're doing. But if you were to say to me, Caicedo, forget Bellingham for a minute, and Thuram, you go, yeah, that makes sense, because one of them is that end of the market where you're looking to progress him. His value will go up, but you don't know whether you want to sell him in 4 or 5 years or whatever. But he does kind of fit in what Liverpool usually do. Well, but doing it is another thing.
I'd say add one of these lads to, like, ultra pessimistic or optimistic. Add one of these lads to Bellingham and Nunes, because I have a feel. I'd say man Nunes is as good as done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, worried about that one, isn't you?
I'm not that. It's not that I'm worried about it, Keith. It just seems to be like just one of them that it's fucking literally a timing issue.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
If you look at it, Shawnee, right? If you're doing Thuram, and I'm not saying we are, but if you're doing Thuram at £20 million, right, and you're doing Nunes from Wolves at £44 million, is that a bit? About £44 million. Yeah. So you might spend the money on Thuram at 20, and then you say, right, we'll give Wolves X amount up front. The amount of money you're actually committing in the summer is not huge on 2 midfielders. It would be huge on Bellingham. They want a huge chunk of that up front. That's how Dortmund work.
You wouldn't get Lillian Thuram for fucking 20 million.
£20 million is market value, Shawnee.
Yeah, but don't mind that.
Don't mind that. You asked me to look up the stats. His market value is 20.
What was Cody Gakpo's market value?
You'll sign a contract in February or March, and you'll blow up, and it'll be worth 50-60 million, and you'll go and sit on the bench for PSG next year.
Could do, but I'm just saying. The output is probably on those two players is probably 15 million, 20 million this summer up front, and then you do your across the course of the contract sort of stuff. So it's not like
I'd say you're looking at 30 to 35 million for these two boys that we're going to talk about.
I'd say man Kone has to happen in the next 3 weeks, or we've missed the boat.
Yeah, well, see, that's what we'll move on to him now. So
why do you say that?
Because I honestly, he's one of these players who looks like he's ready to explode, and you either get him now or we get priced out of him. And the way I compare him to. I don't know how much Liverpool will have to spend next year.
250 million, Johnny.
Yeah, do you not
say it is 250 million, Gav. Say it is 250 million, right?
That's probably not.
Lord knows how much Bellingham might cost. Nune, I'd nearly say that's as good as done. And that's not offhand. It's just, when you look at that, it just has all the hallmarks of a Liverpool signing where they're just going to do that. They're going to do that. It's a matter of timing. What will happen is there'll be players moving all over Europe, and that Thuram lad will just replace one of them for big money. And we won't be in that. We won't be in for it. Because we either get him now or you miss out. Similar to Caicedo. It's just one of them things. You get him before he's gone. We done it with Gakpo. Because we jumped on the Gakpo train early. They went early on him. We nearly lost out on Núñez because Benfica were trying to play us off different club. That's why we had to pay big money for him. We don't really do that, Gav. We don't pinch players like that. So I think something like your man, and what's the other fella, Kone of Leipzig as well. These are two players that you're gonna need to do in the instancy. Otherwise, you're not gonna get them because we'd be just priced out of mills. Like it's happened loads.
Curio Kone has been linked with Newcastle, with Bayern Munich, with Man United, with fucking PSG, with Leipzig, with all these teams. And to me, and this might be a bit of a blatant start to sweat pumping now, you think, he's very Naby Keita at Leipzig for me, in that he was becoming that sort of midfield player that everyone was looking for. And Liverpool went in and done a deal to get him whenever we could get him, they were that happy. I think Kone could be one of them. If you can tie him down now at Gladbach and get him in the summer, it could be done. But I don't think you can sleep on these lads. And the infuriating thing here is that he only went there last year, I think, from Toulouse. And the man that owns Toulouse fucking...
He went in January 21 to Toulouse.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot you had all this.
Well, he signed in January 2021, but he stayed on loan till the end of the season.
Yeah. But that's Red Board. Is that your man, Carnival, what's his name? Fucking... Carnival or whatever his name is, that he owns Toulouse. We don't have any link up with these, and that's a player. Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing, you know what I mean? If we bought a youngster from Toulouse, everyone would be losing their shit over it. But, it goes to show that sometimes you just have to take the pull on that. But he's another player that I'd say you'd be looking at. I don't know, what's his market value, Gav?
Curio Kone, 25 million euros.
Yeah, you see, I'd put him in the 30 to 35 million range as well.
He's 21, 6'1".
Yeah, I was about to ask, 6'1". But
59 games between Monchengladbach and Toulouse, 6 goals.
But he's a good player. But he's more of an attacking player, and that's why I sort of linked him more to Naby Keita as well in his style. Kefren Thuram plays in a forward at Nice, but he can play on the left-hand side of the forward, which is mad. He's not even left-footed. But he plays centre as well. He's 6'4". He can play defensive midfield. Palhinha came out of nowhere, 6'3", can play defensive midfield. We're going to talk about Koopmeiners in a second. 6'3", I think, plays defensive midfield. Kone is a little bit different in that he's more like attacking than defensively strong. He's good all round. He's maybe more on the lines of Caicedo, or I've seen him compared to Basuma as well, like that type of player. He's not a defensive midfielder, but he's an all-rounder, and that might be what Liverpool need. He's got a lot of energy and things like that, but it's another tall player that they're being linked with. But we're going to move on to the next one, which is...
Or FSG's new basketball team.
Well, that's it, yeah. Can he slam? Can he dunk a basketball? That's what we want to see.
They're going to Vegas, are they?
Well, that's the talk, yeah. It's a model. Them and LeBron, yeah. They'll get that Vegas franchise, and... that'll be the end game for them. But you just hope they don't keep Liverpool then as a little side thing building up.
The Las Vegas gamblers.
Yeah, that's it. Drive people mad. But Gav, Team Koopmeiners, give us a height and a bit of info on him, will you please?
24-year-old Dutchman, 6 foot on the nose. 6 foot on the nose.
That all? I thought he was taller.
6 foot on the nose. 116 games for AZ with
I think he
35 goals. Atalanta, 47 games, 9 goals over the last.
Fighting out of Utrecht, Amsterdam.
14 million euros he was signed for. His market value is 30 million euros. Go check him out on Oil Tree.
Yeah, Davo, have a little chat there. I think he's taller as well, but Gav was going with 6 foot. He looks taller. He looks rangier, doesn't he?
I thought I read earlier he was 6'3" or 6'4", but
he is
I had a look
1.85 meters, which is 6 foot.
Yeah, he is 6 foot.
Yeah. I watched a bit of him the other night. I actually just came across the game because that Scottish Unfiltered was playing. I'd be a big fan of that Open Goal podcast, and they get Derek Ferguson on. The Unfiltered is over in Bologna. So he was playing, so I put it on, and they were actually getting beat 1-0 at Atalanta, and then I think about 5 minutes in the second half, they were 2-1 up. Koopmeiners scored a fucking scream.
A cracker.
About 25 yards into the top corner. So I was just kind of loosely watching it then, but he's a name I've heard a good bit of before. I think he can get about, can't he? Box to box.
He's linked with him before. When he was at AZ, before he went to Atalanta, Liverpool were linked with him.
He can kind of do a bit of everything, like, but yeah, look, like, we're fucking, I suppose we're repeating ourselves a little bit. I mean, like, we probably don't think there's anyone coming in, but yeah, look, I don't know. I think I didn't watch a lot of Holland in the World Cup, but he was playing. He played, didn't he? He played a good bit.
He made it. Was all right. Yeah, I think he started in the field.
But yeah, look, it's fucking. I don't know. I don't think he'd be coming in anyway. But
yeah,
certainly has a hammer of a left peg on him anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He is left-footed. He's a John was a comment there. He's slow. So yeah, he is. He's not a quick player. So if you look at Thuram, you look at Kone, they're athletic players that can go up and down, move around the pitch. Amrabat as well as a loose link. He's another one that can scutter around the place.
I prefer, to be honest with you, Keith, I prefer, even for the whole of midfielder, I love fellas who have pace who can get across. I love Mascherano. I love the way he could move around the pitch, getting across. I thought your man was very, very good, even though he ended up winning the game. I don't remember him in the home game, and Napoli hammered us because I was on my holidays getting gargled as every goal went in, and they were smashing us. But I thought your man Labocca was brilliant at Anfield. In front of the back four for them. I know we end up beating them 2-0, kind of handy enough, but sure, it was a dead rubber. I thought he was very good, very pacey, moves across the ground, very easy. That's for me. That's something I like to see in a midfield player, rather than just a kind of rangy fella. Rather than Fabinho, I like ones that, not slagging Fabinho or anything like that. I love him, brilliant, but more the Mascherano style I prefer.
Yeah. No, and that's fair enough, because I agree. Yeah, like Koopmeiners he does get around with it, but he's not quick. He's not Mascherano would scamper and he'd catch up on things. And I'd agree that's the type of player that I'd love there as well. But he is more of a ball player. You know what I mean? He's got a good strike. He's got I think I read that he played a lot of centre back as well. I think he slots in a centre back as well in defensive midfield.
Jesus, don't say that. Because if you sign him, he'd be like fucking, he's our fifth choice, and then people get injured and they'd be like, what? I can't be dealing with that. I go on holiday with Davo and we just get
free kick and penalty expert.
That's what I was saying earlier. It looks like Atletico are pressing the reset button completely on everything. Simeone's gone,
isn't he? Yeah.
And they're all gone. It looks like it's going to be a fire sale there, so one they might actually want to keep on to is, I think, Marcus Llorente would be fucking exactly what Liverpool need, and I'd pay any money for him, because
they paid big bucks for him, didn't they? 40 something, I think. But
yeah, they got
him for much less than that. Yeah.
The most Chelsea move ever is going to be fucking Simeone in the door, isn't it?
And he can play right back as well, so he's versatile. He's a brilliant footballer. He won the game for them in Anfield that day. He was fucking brilliant. And he is 6 foot, and he's absolutely gorgeous as well.
Is he over 6 foot as well? Well then he's on the list.
Unit.
We can put him in.
He's a big unit.
Yeah, but you don't know his market value, so stop.
They're on the check.
It's gonna be fucking 80 million. He's gonna he cost a lot of money.
And he's not that young either, but is he?
Nah, he's only about 25, I think.
Is he?
I had Marcus Llorente is a bit older than that, but
no, I'm thinking of the fella that played for Spurs. That's about 37. The big centre forward.
He was going to get lad. He was going to get that job, Shonny.
I don't know. To be honest with you, there's no. Probably Roberto Martinez might get it on him.
He job share it, for the fucking. Yeah. Is he the Portugal manager now?
Yeah, Portugal.
Genuinely, what is going on?
I wouldn't be surprised Pochettino.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Because I think
it's a big job. It's a huge job.
Yeah, they've allowed the money as well.
Yeah, so Pochettino. Cholo's the highest paid manager in the world by a fucking mile.
Yeah, I think they're hitting the reset button there.
Marcus Llorente is 27.
27, sorry. But look, there's loads in him. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's fucking gorgeous.
Kevin Ball mentions Rodrigo de Paul as well.
I wouldn't go near him. Him. Being absolutely dreadful for Atletico. Put in a good shift for Argentina like the Argies do when they all get together. But
the only thing about de Paul that I do like is that
Enrique
he is one of them
Atletico.
scamperers.
Yeah,
Enrique's a good show. Yeah,
I like him that he's a bit of a nasty fucker as well. Do you know
Tuchel
what I mean?
mentioned as well here in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a fucking funny feeling he's gonna be next Liverpool manager.
Who
Tuchel?
Yeah.
Or I'll lose my mind.
I don't know because he's always sacked. Did you see Simon Jordan said the other day on TalkSport that Todd Bowley told him why he sacked him, and if he would have sacked him quicker, he wouldn't even have given him as much time. Didn't say what it was, but he said he heard from the horse's mouth why he was sacked, and he would have done it quicker over whatever happened with Tuchel.
Oh, that's fucking. Yeah, but come on, like that's fucking low hanging fruit, isn't it? I know why he was sacked, but I can't really say it. But fuck that. Like,
but you wouldn't expect him to be backing up in America.
Yeah, he needs to come out and say it.
You know what I mean?
Simon Jordan, just come out and tell us.
A bit of low hanging fruit there from fucking.
There's a name getting thrown around for the job as well, Marcelo Gallardo as well. That he left River Plate. He'll end up in
you'd
Spain
love that, wouldn't you?
It's only a matter of time.
Key to be outside the fucking the Atleti Stadium every week looking for a ticket. Telling them that he used to go to the Calderon every week.
Amaron, the Sporting Lisbon manager, is really highly tall.
He could be the show for Atletico. To be
honest,
if they're going for a reset and all that, and they want to go kind of progress a little bit from the shite they've been playing for fucking 10 years or whatever, could be.
Yeah,
knowing the type of club that Atletico are in anyway, I'd say the manager's already in the door. Nobody kind of does succession planning like them, so I think they just kind of, I think they come to their end of that tether under Simeone.
I actually hope Atleti
watching them for 10 years.
Well, I hope if Atletico have a new manager, I hope it's Thomas Tuchel, because Shawnee has put the win right up me now with that comment. Like, it's bang out of order, Shawnee, right, for the Tuesday night or whatever, Wednesday night, whatever it is, because I fucking despise him. Nearly as much as I despise Brendan Rodgers, but I just cannot fucking stand the sight of Thomas Tuchel.
He's over 6 foot, Gav.
I don't give a fuck what he is.
We do
right? He's about 4 stone wet through. He's not. No, I'm not having him.
Not enough heft about him. No, well, that's fair enough. But it will be interesting to see what does happen in those jobs. But when they think about it, there's a lot of big managers are going to be out there, and there's not going to be an awful lot of big jobs. So it'll be interesting to see.
Jono says, get Tuchel to come in, be Klopp's number 2. Let him write a book about why Bowley pinned them after 6 games.
Don't knock it. Klopp empowers. He empowers the staff. That's what you want to see. That's why we love him. They're all writing books. But look, the links are there. They're going to keep coming thick and fast. Is there anything in it? I don't know. But I'm going to press each year, and I'm going to say, Liverpool next season, who would you want to see coming in? Focus on midfield. If you could pick, let's say there is a 250 million war chest. 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? Davo, I'll start with you. What are you looking at for midfield? Give me the names of the players that you would personally like to see going in there.
Well, look, I think we need 3. judging by how it's we've kind of let it slide and let it drift, I would be on the more pessimistic end of Liverpool fans as you boys now, but I'm actually quite optimistic we'll get Bellingham, to be honest with you. I think kind of maybe the Lord of being the next Gerrard or whatnot, working with Klopp for a few years might get him in the door. So I think we might get Bellingham. After that, listen, like I said to you, I'm a fan of kind of a Scamper and Mascherano style, so I would love someone in like that, whether it's fucking Kone, did you say, is like that Keith or
well, he's more of an attacker. But he's more not the defensive style.
Well, I just listen. I'd be happy enough with mobile players, to be honest with you. That's just the truth of it. I think just judging by what we're witnessing at the minute, I don't think the boys have thrown the towel in or anything like that. I just don't think their legs can do what their bodies. Their legs can do what their body wants them to.
A bit like ourselves, Davo.
I'd say at the start of the season, Klopp was kind of going, now listen, I'm happy with what I have in midfield.
I thought you were going to say there. And I think at the start of the season, me and you thought we could do this, but we can't.
I'd say Klopp was probably happy enough, and he was going to back the lads to be able to do it, but it's in stark contrast now where they can't, they just can't get around. And look, I don't know anything about your man Arthur Mello. I don't know if he's like Arthur Fowler or fucking Arthar Guinness. Right? I don't know. But that's after going against us as well, because I'd imagine there's probably a little bit of football in him. I don't know, is he a slightly more mobile, less technical Thiago version? I don't know. I don't know much about him at all. But again, it's just another one that's gone wrong for us in midfield this year. So yeah, look, I think we'll get Bellingham, and then we will bring in a couple of others because we've no fucking choice. Like the three boys will move on. Milner, Keita, and Ox, and Henderson will become the Milner, I would imagine, in the squad. And then the two boys we'll have to get three in. And then look at there's always, I think Andy Young always says there's always enough games when you're at Liverpool, particularly where we are at the minute for fellas to play. So yeah, Bellingham and a couple of yard dogs.
Nice. Shawnee, what's your thinking? How many? And give me some names.
It depends who owns it, because if it's FSG, they're going to leave us one short anyway.
250 war chest. 250 war chest.
Big war chest, Shawnee.
It'll be Bellingham, Nunez, and one other. And one other, I got a left field. I seen Eunice throwing it in there. I really like the look of Jacob Ramsey off Villa. I think he's fucking. I think he's class, and he'd be a little bit. I think we need a 6. I think we need somebody who can cover Fab. So I don't know. Like years and years ago, Keith, I could tell you, I could rattle off all of these lads who are coming through who could play those positions. But now, Bellingham, Nunez, and Caicedo would be the best. I actually think Caicedo is a better signing for Liverpool than any player we can buy.
I agree.
I think he's exactly what we need. Who knows? They might only do 2. But I reckon Bellingham and Nunez. I reckon Nunez is nailed.
He's completely fried your brain. He has.
No, it's not even that. The noise. That is like when I told you earlier. It was like the noise you heard about. It's when we weren't going for defenders that year. There was Konate, and we're not going for midfielders now. And it's Nunez, and it's all the same. Going, well, they can do it. They're gonna fucking do it. Let's be honest. And I don't know why they did. My only grievance with it is why we didn't do it in August.
Yeah. So you're happy then with a Bellingham, Nunez, and maybe a Caicedo, but if not, Jacob Ramsey as a bit of a left fielder.
Yeah, I'd be happy with fucking Bellingham's out for now, and fucking
Joe Bellingham and Jewett.
Well, did you see we're offering the scouting job, and we're offering the sign job as well to get you over the line? So that's nice, you know what I mean?
Look, listen, if it all goes tits up and you can't get Bellingham, once they have a fucking plan in place, I'd be looking to get De Jong out of Barca or something. That's what I'd be doing. That's the type of. So I think Frankie De Jong is a fucking.
He's brilliant. Yeah,
he's a ridiculous footballer. I think it's completely glossed over. If you can't get Bellingham, he's the one I'd literally be fucking pulling down trees to get. But look, we just don't know. We could
be 3 players that we haven't played mentioned.
James Ward-Prowse in 2 weeks because he's out of contract in the summer. Honestly, you wouldn't know.
And he's going down as well with Southampton.
Yeah, Gav, what's your thing?
Well, Jamrock had a super chat earlier, which I did have up on the screen, then I forgot to read it, and that's what Kev WhatsApped me about, just for people in the chat. He said, Gav, the super chat, you never read it out. He was asking, was the money for Gapco there in the summer, because we could have gotten Basuma, Gravenbach, etc. We seem to have money to buy forwards for some reason. Well, Basuma thing, it was all a bit up in the air with Basuma for a while, wasn't it?
He hasn't been good for Spurs.
No, but I haven't seen much of him with Spurs. And Gravenbach, was Bayern. You know, Bayern seemed to have the inside track on that. But you're right, you know, they've spent money on another forward, but like I said, you go around in circles all day around this midfield. But one thing you do know is that you need to get something in. With regards to the summer, Bellingham should be done. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. If he's on the market and Liverpool need midfielders, you go and do him. I think Caicedo is a no-brainer, because Bellingham, for me, is the fella that plays on the right side of a tree. And Caicedo is the fella that could play beside him or go and play in Fabinho's position. You need someone that can do both when you're making this transition in midfield. And remember, Fabinho's not getting any younger either. So if you're going to be this hesitant over changing the midfield, as we've seen, you probably want to future-proof it as much as you fucking can when you're changing it now. And I think Caicedo and Bellingham is definitely that. The other one then, you know, Shawnee is he's kind of got me on this Nunez one where he thinks it's absolutely nailed, and he moves very well with the ball. But I kind of want Liverpool to go back to a bit of a function in midfield. Although, listen, Caicedo and Bellingham and stuff can do brilliant things. I want us going back to functioning where we really fucking hope
yard dogs, Gav, yard
dogs.
No,
not just hurting them with a press. You know, having that work right there where you can free up the likes of all them lads up front to do whatever they want. So Bellingham definitely. If it was me, it's definitely Bellingham. It's definitely Caicedo. And although Nunez may look like it's done, I'd probably go for one of them lads on the list, like it's Thuram, because I think he's a midfielder. He's a bit younger, but then lads, you have to remember
Kenneth Taylor as well. Kenneth Taylor from Ajax is one here.
But you have to remember the homegrown stuff, because if you lose Ox and you lose Milner out of the squad, the two homegrown, so you have to get them in somewhere. Now people have talked about, you know, Adrian could go and stuff like that. Now if Keita leaves, you can replace him with
Grizovic in and
would Bellingham would be homegrown, so he'd be fine. But if Keita goes out and you bring in Caicedo, you're fine. It's Milner leaving it. They're actually really on the fucking edge when it comes to the homegrown stuff. So you might see a shift somewhere else in the squad where we bring in a homegrown player, remove a homegrown player, and then you can do it in midfield. So, but for me, like Ugarte from Sporting is being mentioned. We should go and have a quick look at him. But definitely Bellingham, definitely Caicedo, and I wouldn't be against Nunez, but I think you might see someone a bit less expensive and a bit younger.
Yeah, the way I'd look at it, it's Bellingham. Caicedo, I agree, is the best fit for us. Caicedo is like Gini Wijnaldum in the sense that he'll do all that running for you, but he can be moulded into a 6. He can be moulded into an 8. I think he's the perfect signing for Liverpool. It's expensive. I do Bellingham, I do Caicedo, and then I do Thuram as well. And in theory, then
Bellingham
Thuram
wouldn't be
can
homegrown,
go
actually.
Well, they're all young as well, so he'd
get into the squad okay. It's just the amount of homegrown players you have to have. He wouldn't count for the 4th season. People are saying
they'll sign bleed Ben Foster or something.
Yeah,
who can give him 20 grand a week.
He's retired.
Exactly.
Well, doesn't matter. Yeah, get it easy to get out. He's not attached to anyone. Great.
We get your man back over. We get Lonergan back from Everton.
Yeah, Lonergan. Yeah, that's
sign Pickford on a free when they go down.
Yeah, but it is true, because we spoke on Sunday night, myself and Sean and Emma, and we were saying, you know, Kelleher looks like he's gone, right, in the summer. We all agreed that Joe Gomez could be time is up, and that's another homegrown player. Do you know what I mean? Curtis Jones is on the cusp of moving him on, and that's another homegrown player. Like, there has to come a point where English players are brought into the squad. Like, there's no way around
it. That's where Declan Rice probably comes into the conversation as well then.
he's gonna cost more than Bellingham.
But the problem, where's he going to go? And that's the thing. If Chelsea are hung out, well, they're spending money like it's going out of fashion.
I think Arsenal could buy. I think Arsenal would be the big splurge for Rice Champions League.
I kind of see him staying. I kind of see him staying in London as well.
Well, he's always been linked with Chelsea, but if they're going to go back, let's say for Enzo Fernandez,
United will be stupid enough to United will pay all but the odds for him.
Yeah.
He was the worst fucking player on the pitch when West Ham played Arsenal over the Christmas there. I watched it. He genuinely was the worst player on the pitch. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. He's a very, very good player. But it was like he got the absolute fucking run around.
It'd be interesting to see what he do around that space with the homegrown players, because people hate listening to it. And when we do these shows, people are like, oh, the homegrown, blah, blah.
Well, someone's saying there that Curtis Jones actually now qualifies at the end of this month as a homegrown player because he'd be over 21.
Well, there he adds
into the squad. So there's loads of different permutations, isn't there, around it? So
loads
I'm sure
of nuances.
But anyway, listen, just tell them to fuck off. And we were getting Bellingham, Saicedo, and some other fella.
Anybody else.
And we just register a squad of 24 instead of 25. It'd be grand.
Anyone that can run will take them into that midfield. Before we finish up, Gav, have you got an update on the charity out in
it's only 5 days old or something. We're gone over 1,000 already on it, which is really good. I've had loads of people on to me saying I'm going to donate, but it's January and I have to wait till the 25th till I get paid, which is absolutely fucking sound. But look, I'm not going to go on and on and on about it. It's a brilliant charity, breast cancer research. It's an amazing thing that 11 women are going to do. They were training tonight, right? And I swear to God, it was like a monsoon outside, and I was like, "There's no way they're training in that." And then my wife's friend texted and went, "Yeah, we were out training." Look, I don't know what we were thinking, but we were out training for that marathon tonight in weather that's horrific. But it's 11 of them training together from now right through till October. So they all run that 26.2 miles. They are doing their absolute best. They're literally started on Monday, where they're just canvassing everywhere around the area, everybody they know, to get going on this. So we're expecting to see a big bump in it for when people get paid. But listen, if you can't donate, times are hard, so don't worry about it. If you can't donate, just please share it amongst your friends, your family, your workplace. If anybody wants a poster on it, A4 poster, you want me to email it to you, I can email it. You can print it out and work, use all their ink, print it out and lash it around your workspace, your canteen, wherever it might be. And we've set a target of 20 grand, which seems high, but I think we can get there. I'm just started with the golf day, and I've had loads of lads coming back telling me they're going to play again and stuff like that, so that'll bring a few quid in on that day, and there's a huge day plan for that. So, but the link is in the description. You can click on the link, you can support them by donating, or just take that link and share it. If you can't find the link for whatever reason, go onto Google and type in G4MO Ashbourne and it will come up for you. And like I said, the poster that we can send out to you and you can print off has a little QR code where people can just hold their phone up to it. It brings them straight to the site. So we've made it as easy as we possibly can. But it's gone over the 1,000 already. The target is 20. Breast cancer research. We know how important it is. I'm not going to go on about it. So share it, donate, whatever you can do, and we won't stop until we get to it. That's just the way we do things. So that's where we are with it.
Deal with, yeah. So yeah, we'll leave it there then, lads. Nice little chat about signings that won't happen, but you know, Liverpool is Liverpool. We are where we are. I look forward to War Chest somewhere. They're always great, but you know.
What's wrong with you, Shadi?
Red Steve. Before Davo goes to war, peeler or a knife, I could just see him biting the skin off the thing.
Davo, potato peeler or knife when you're peeling potatoes?
Peeler.
Yeah, no one. Kev O'Sullivan uses a knife, but he lives in the blade and sticks down in Cork, doesn't he? Like he goes out and catches the potato. He goes out hunting potatoes, that fella.
Okay. Kieran Tom with a super chat for £5 says, lads, pick 4 shows throughout the month. However many likes they have, up to 600, I will donate £1 for each like on them shows. How does that work?
Lads, pick 4 shows through the month, whoever.
This is like a plate. Ivan has 10 apples and...
Yeah, and then she goes down to shop and her brother takes 2 over. No, what he's saying there is, pick 4 shows throughout the month. And he will. So for argument's sake, this show has 153 likes. What he's saying is he will donate £1 per like on 4 shows, up to 600 likes across the 4 shows. Yeah, we'll do that. That's no problem.
Well in, Kieran.
Yeah,
that's
very good.
Yeah,
that's good. If another 10 people or 20 people want to do the same for us, make this
save us a lot of hassle. We'll move on.
Kieran, you're fucked. I'm going to be up all night making Gmail accounts.
Come here. Do you remember the time he didn't tell Seany, and every time he cursed someone, done that, and it was like fucking 80 quid or something. It was £1 for every
I was there recording every time when writing them down, and we had to tot them up at the end. Seany didn't have a clue what was going on.
But look, that's a brilliant gesture, and we will pick the 4 shows. Did you go potato peeler or knife, Davo?
Peeler,
yeah, 100%. Dylan O'Rourke says, speaking of this, I saw this spray can. You put butter into it. It melts, so you spray the butter onto the bread. Wow. No, actually, that's horrible. That's
a bit late for that, Gav, isn't it?
You can't be spraying butter onto bread. You know what I mean? This is like not some fella on their bridge fucking spraying me name and tagging a bridge somewhere with butter.
The world is fucked. People are driving 400 miles in England to buy bottles of bleeding Lucasade Sport.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental.
Cans of it and all now that they're getting. It's
unbelievable. But listen, that's a brilliant gesture from Kieran.
Yeah, and fair play.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that up.
And it just shows, we've done these things in the past, and people always surprise us with these sort of gestures, and we don't put pressure on it. We don't, be looking essentially for things like that. But when people do it, it just shows that the support in the chat and in the community we have on these shows does go a long way to get us reaching them targets. So yeah, nice one, Kieran. That's very good of you. Anything else before we go, Gav?
No.
Nothing. Seany?
No, all good.
Davo?
No, all good.
Excellent. We'll leave it there. So this has been the NTK, No Transfer Knowledge Show on the LFC Daytrippers. Gav, when are we back again? We'll be back tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Viewers' Voice tomorrow. Premier League forecast Friday. Full-time Reds Saturday. Fatback for Sunday.
3 o'clock Saturday, yeah?
Yeah.
Liverpool's 3 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah. None of us will be on Saturday. We're all out drinking.
Yeah. That's it. Don't tell anyone where we are, Gav. We'll have a flood of people looking to join us.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Are you still going out for a gargle?
Yeah.
Well,
Why wouldn't I be?
Take the admin off air. This Seany Lawson throwing a little.
Why wouldn't we be?
Because you said you were binning it.
When?
You said you were binning it when you turned around we're playing Brighton. I think we'll fuck that off.
No, I said I'm fucking the game off, not the drink. Fuck that.
Gav was on to me. I'll travel in. I don't care if we miss the game. That's the spirit. That's what we like to see.
I'll be on the bus. Don't worry. Sitting in the pub with big bucket of potatoes, just peeling them, just sitting there delighted.
We can have a competition. A stone of potatoes and a knife, and just sit there peeling potatoes and see how many you can get through.
Exactly.
2 with a whole night. Anyway, lads, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back again soon, and thanks for watching.